All right, guys. Good day. My name is Victor from Enlightened Technology. Today I'll be teaching you a crash course on HTML. I'm going to teach you everything you just need to know about HTML. I do this because I love programming and it's what I really do. So if you know you're a beginner and you're new to web programming, so this is the best place for you to start. Okay, this channel is a free channel. All the content we put out here for free. So but you just have to support us just by subscribing to our channel to enable us produce more of this content for free. All right, so thank you very much, and we'll be diving directly right now into the course. All right, let's go. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk to you about what is HTML. Yeah, what is HTML? All right, very important. What is HTML? HTML is hypertext markup language. All right, hypertext what markup language. So what are the key things that you need to know about HTML? Number one is that HTML is not a programming language. Okay, HTML is not a programming language. All right, so why did I say it's not a programming language? Is one of the key elements of a programming language is what is logic. You can do things like your if statements, you can do things like your conditioners, but with HTML you can't just do that. It's just a markup language to tell the browser how you want your document to be formatted. All right, so it's a markup language for creating web documents. Okay, you use it for creating just web pages, all right, or web documents. That's the only thing you use it for. So HTML is actually the building block of the web. Very important. So almost every website you visit is being made with HTML, whether be it's generated like React, your Vue, or whether it's Bootstrap. Okay, HTML is just involved, and it is strictly presentational. So everything about HTML is just basically what you see on the screen. All right, basically what you see on the screen. All right, so let's go. So what do you need to get started? Number one, you need a computer. You need a computer, and the next thing you need is you need a text editor. All right, so any kind of computer will work. All right, so far just a computer will work, whether be using a Windows, a Linux, a Mac, just any kind of computer. All right, so the text editor, we have various type of text editor. A text editor is just like just the way you have your notepad and you have your paper where you can write notes and all of that. So but for this particular case, to write an HTML you need a text editor. It can be a notepad, all right, it can be Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code, Acton, Bracket, just a lot of them. But for this particular course, we'll be using the Visual Studio Code. All right, that's the one we'll be using. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So the next thing is you need a web browser to display your HTML presentations. All right, so there are different type of web browser. We have your Chrome, Mozilla, Safari, Opera. We have IE, all right. So, but don't use IE because IE has a lot of issues. Okay, but the most preferred one I use is actually Google Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome is really nice, and okay, it just helps you out really good, and it supports a lot of the HTML5 latest version. All right, so next is the text editor. So for you to download your text editor, just go to this website. All right, so you can download your text editor there. All right, so if you want to code along with me, so you just download the VS Code. All right, so once you download it, just install it. Okay, so let's progress. All right, so to create an HTML file, okay, what do you need? Okay, first thing first is, unlike PHP, Node, and Ruby and Rails, Django, you need a server to run them. But for this particular one, you don't need a server. So all you just need to do is you create a file, and the file must end with a .html extension. All right, so the file must end with .html extension. So next thing you will need is you need a running web browser. Okay, and one thing you should know is that the root file, which is your default file, rather in every website, the default file in every website is index.html. So index is like the default file. So when you go open the website like this, like this one here, all right, so you have to it's automatically load the index.html. All right, so the next thing is when you load a website with about.html, it loads the about.html. But for the index, you don't need to put slash your website slash index. Okay, once you just put your website address, you automatically load the index.html. All right, guys. So now the thing is, let's start coding. All right. So let's start coding. So let me just walk you through some of the things we've just talked about. And all right. So this is the folder I created. So in this folder, I'm just going to create a file. Okay, I'm just going to go to new. I'm going to click on text document. So I'm just kind of going to select everything here. I'm just going to do index.html. All right, and I'm going to press enter. Yes. All right, so our file now has been created. So if I want to test this file, I just right click and I just do open with Google Chrome. All right, so you see our file here is actually empty. That's why you're not seeing anything here, but that's how to test your file on the web browser. All right, so to open this code in our VS Code, all right, I'll just right click and just do open with code. All right, open with code. So this is our file, which is already opened. So I'm just going to click on it, and so here we are. So now we are done with the basic things that you ought to know. We are done with the basic things that you ought to know. All right, so we've created our folder and we created a new file and we open it in VS Code. So congratulations for that. All right, guys, so let's progress. Okay, so now before I move into the coding environment to actually show you the stuff, so there are just certain things that you need to know. Okay, so it's called tag. So in HTML we use tags. Okay, we use tags for everything that we do. So now to create a tag, you start with the tag name. So this is the tag name. All right, and the tag has a content. Okay, so let's even start from the main thing. All right, so in HTML we have elements. All right, we have elements, and elements are surrounded by brackets, which is this. All right, these are your brackets. So elements are surrounded with brackets. So normally tags comes in pairs. All right, normally tags comes in pairs. So we have the start tag and the ending tag. So like this p tag, which means paragraph, this is the start tag. So I'm just going to put s here. So this is start tag, and this is a paragraph. This one here is just the content, and this is the what? This is the close tag. So I just put a c. Now what is the thing you need to notice here? Okay, so the p tag, this is the opening tag. You see, just have a brace and another brace here, and you have p in the middle. So this is the starting tag. Now take a close look at the closing tag. You see it has a backslash, right? It has a forward slash rather. Okay, the forward slash represents that this is a what? A closing what? Tag. Okay, so tags usually have the same, but with forward slash, like the closing tag has forward slash. Then another thing you need to know is some tags then close themselves, like this b arrow, which means break. You see it's closing itself. All right, Then we have these as well. So these are what self-closing tags. Okay. All right, so let's move ahead. I want to show you something. All right, so this is a diagram. So now what you need to know is that this here, from here to here, is what opening tag. Okay, so this place that they have tag name, you can either put paragraph, your heading, your lists and all of that, your tables. It can just be anything. All right, so this is the content and this is the closing tag. You see it has a forward slash. So everything here is known as the elements, HTML elements. All right, so everything here is the HTML elements. So now we are just at the very most important part of this course, which is the HTML page structure. The HTML what? Page structure. So now, first of all, if you want to start an HTML document, the first thing you need to do the doc type. And after the doc type, you create an HTML open tag. Then you create the HTML close tag as well. Then you create the head tag, and you close the head tag. And over here you have the title of your document comes inside the head tag. Then after the head tag, you now have your body tag. So your body tag is basically where everything that shows in the main browser comes in. So everything you're going to design is going to come in between these body tags. All right, so one more thing is this is just a better example of it. All right, so if you watch over here, we have our HTML tag, which starts it and ends it. And after that, we have a head tag, okay, a head element, rather. We have an head element, which starts with the opening tag and the closing tag. And after the head element, we have a body element, which every other thing that you want to show on the website, this is where they come in. Okay, so enough of talking. So let's go back to our code environment. So now to start, we start by putting a brace and the doc type. All right, so this doc type, what it actually means is that you're telling the browser that, hey browser, this particular document you're just going to open is an HTML file. So after the header, the next thing you just do is you do HTML. All right, so this HTML here, this is the opening tag and this is the closing tag. Okay, so now inside of the HTML elements, the next thing you want to do, you want to put the head tag. So this head tag now is, okay, just like you write letters, right? You normally write letters that you send to your friends, and on top of the envelope of the letter, you normally put in the title of the letter, the address that you want to send that letter to. So it's just the same thing for the HTML head element. The HTML head element carries, I'm talking about this. The HTML head element carries information about the document, all right? So things like meta tags, that's search engine use for optimization, and the rest of them comes inside a head tag. But for now, we're just going to start with the little basics. So I'm just going to do title. So this is title of the document. So I'm just going to do Elytra. So we're done with the head element. So the next thing I want to create now is the body element. All right. So this side is body element. All right. This is where the whole work is done. So everything you want to show to the user comes in here. All right. Everything you want to show to the user comes in here. So I'm just going to create a simple tag. So I'm just going to create an H1, and I'm just going to put heading, and I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to do paragraph. Oh, sorry, that's paragraph, and I'm just going to do lorem 30. All right, so let me really break this down. All right. Oh man, it's really long. Okay. All right, so I just put this gibberish text here. Okay, so let's go back to our web browser and test it out. So this is it. So this is just what we did now. Okay, guys. All right, guys. So what I want to show you is a better way to test your HTML elements. All right, so there is actually a plugin called Live Server. Okay, so Live Server, sorry. So Live Server. So this is the plugin. Though I've already installed it um on my machine. So just install it. All right. So with this extension, you can just right click and just do open with Live Server. So you can just do open with Live Server. So once you make any changes here, it automatically shows here. So this is going to help us for our development. All right, guys, so let's progress. So that's all about the HTML page structure. So there are different versions of HTML. We have the HTML4 and HTML5. So the one we are currently using now is the HTML5. And so if you want to read more about that, you can go to w3school.org for that. So now I'm going to show you some stuff about the web browser that you need to know. So debugging. So for you to debug, let me make this a little bit okay. So for you to debug, you can just right click and click on inspect. Okay, so you're going to see all our source code here. Okay, so all our source code, everything that we are doing is here. Everything that we're doing is here. So you can inspect your code using this. You can also do view page source code. So everything we have done so far, all right, is in this place. So everything we have done so far is just here and all of that. Okay, guys, so that's all about debugging your codes. That's all about debugging your codes, and yep. So let's progress with our class. All right. Okay, guys. So now we want to talk about the various HTML tags. Okay, we want to talk about the various HTML tags. So to start, first of all, we're going to talk about the comments. All right. We're going to talk about the comments. All right. So what are comments actually? What is it? So what is a comment? All right. So this is the use of comments. So let's assume, let's say you're developing an app, but you just want to leave an instruction. So the browser does not understand what comments. The browser doesn't read comments. They don't display comments. Comments are just instructions, right? So to make a comment now, let's say this is our first class. All right, for example. So to make the comment, all you just have to do is you put in a brace, you put in an exclamation mark and 2 dash, and you come towards the end and you do the same thing as well. Okay, so this is how you create your this is how you create your comments in HTML. So the first thing the next thing I want to talk about is the heading. All right, so I'm just going to come here and do heading. So this is a comment, right? So this for heading. So now in HTML we have headings from H1 to H6. So I'm just going to do heading 1. All right, and to make it fast, I'm sorry about that. So heading 1. So next thing I'm gonna do heading 2. Okay, and okay, So I'm just going to change this heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. So let me change this. So these are the different headings, all right, for your HTML. So it starts from H1 to H6. So when you're using H1, H2, or H6, you use them based on the emphasis, all right, based on the emphasis you're trying to give to them. All right, so this is all about the headings. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is paragraph. All right, so paragraph. All right, so next I want to talk about is the paragraph. So to create a paragraph, all you just have to do is just to do the P tag. P stands for paragraph. All right, so the P stands for paragraph. So in this paragraph, let's say I want to type John is my friend. All right, so John is my friend. We say is a paragraph and it's showing here. All right, so now John is my friend, that's a paragraph. So your paragraph can be as lengthy as you want. It all depends on what you want to do. So I'm just going to do lorem 30. Oh, sorry about lorem 30. All right, so this is a paragraph I just created. Okay, so this is a paragraph I just created. So next thing I want to do is I want to talk about strong. All right, so I want to talk about strong. So to do your strong, you just do strong. All right, so this is just to lay emphasis. Let me say Jesus, for example. All right, so you see the strong is darker than the paragraph, right? So the another thing you can do is the strong, you can make you can add a strong inside the paragraph, so which is nesting. So I'm just going to do strong here. So I'm just going to do strong here, and I'm going to come over here and do strong. All right. Oh, sorry about that. All right, I'm sorry about that. So now we have the strong. See, the John is a little bit bolder than the normal paragraph. Okay guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is the span. All right, so span. So what is span actually? Span is an HTML tag that is used to mark up some part of a text. Okay, so that's what span is being used for. Okay, span, you use span to mark up some part of a text. So let's assume, for example, this text, this lorem dollar, we want to make it yellow. So we can just do span. Is an inline element, remember? So I'm going to explain what inline and block element is to you in a while. So I can put span here, and I can just do an inline styling, and I just do style. I do color, I do yellow. Okay, so did you see? Oh, let me use red. So did you see that? So I can use span to do this. Okay guys, so let's move forward. So let's assume I want to add an extra line here, so I can use break. So the one I want to talk about is break. So I can just do B arrow, which means break. Okay, so I can repeat that twice, and you see there's a space here, so I did that with break. So things to note is that we've talked about paragraph, we talked about strong, we've talked about span and break. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is I think I need to pull this out of here. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is emphasis. So let's assume I want to lay emphasis on this at pink scene elip, whatever that means. So I'm just going to do emphasis. Emphasis is EM. All right, so to do emphasis, I just do EM and we copy everything here. So just to lay emphasis. So did you see that? Did you see that? You see the emphasis. So this is the emphasis here. So you see it's written in italics, all right? So it's written in italics. So that's how you create your emphasis. Okay, guys. So let's progress. All right. So now the next thing I want to talk about is links. Okay, so links, how do you create links? So I'm just going to do a break. I'm just going to do a break and I think I'll repeat it twice. So how do you create a link? So create a link, you start with what? By writing the A tag or anchor tag. All right, so the A tag or what? The anchor tag. So you don't need to worry about this. I will explain that to you in a while. All right, so the A tag, this is where you add your links. Okay, your links. So let's put Google here. So let's put Google here. And so if you come here now and put the address of Google, which is http://google.com. all right, so this is google.com. okay, this is google.com. all right, so if I click on this now, you see it's going to take me directly to google.com. So this is how you create link in HTML. So that's how you create links in HTML. Okay, so let's progress. All right, so this is how you create links. So this thing here is called an attribute. All right, it's called an attribute. So I'm going to teach you how to create an attribute shortly. All right, so let's go. So the next thing I want to teach you is I think, let me comment here. So this is links. All right, so this is links. All right, so the next thing I want to teach you is I want to teach you forms. All right, how to so I'm going to put a break here. Okay, so I'm going to create a called form. All right, so what are forms? Okay, forms are used to collect users' inputs. Forms are used to collect what? User input. So to create our form, I'm just going to do inputs. All right, so this input now, you see, I can type in anything here. So we have different types of inputs. So but the default way to create it is you type input is a self-closing tags. All right, it's a self-closing tag. Yeah, self-closing tag, and you see it has a type here. So we have the type of text. All right, so I'm just going to create these forms. We break in each of them. All right, so another form we can create is, so I'm just going to put inputs and okay, you can create for number. You can create inputs for email. Okay, you can create input for email. Okay, it's going to accept so you actually use this name and ID for when you want to send it to the server or when you want to send those information to the database. That's when you use them. But you don't need to worry, we'll talk about that later. So you can collect input for email, you can collect input for files. Okay, let's say you want to upload files, You can collect input for them. All right, so you can just do a whole lot of things. I think let me separate these a while for you guys. All right, so you can collect input for, this is input for text, this is input for numbers. Okay, this is input for numbers. Okay, you can do a whole lot of things with this stuff here. So this is input for numbers. Okay, so this is input for email. All right, this is input for email, mail@mail.com. all right guys, so this is just that. So here you can use it for your files. So there are a whole lot of input. So another thing is input for checkbox. All right, sorry, input for checkbox. So you can do input for your checkboxes. So you can I think let me duplicate this like 3 times. So you can do input for this. See, you can click. So you can also do input for radio. Input, sorry, you can do input for you can do input for radio. All right, so you can do input for radio. All right, and so this is a radio, so you can do input for this. Okay, you can do input for that. So I like to push this up a little, so let me just do div and come and do style. Sorry about that. Margin top 500 pixel. All right, so you can do your radio buttons. So another thing you can use input for, you can use input for, all right, buttons. Okay, so you can do input for buttons. So I'm just going to put a value here, say submit. Okay, but I need to break this down. So you can do input for, so there are a whole lot of things out there you can use input for. So another thing in form that I want to teach you, it's the select. So you can create a select and you put an option in it. Okay, you put an option. Let's say you can put male and you can do female. So it depends on the kind of option that you're creating. So you can also do these in forms and all of that. So it's just endless. All right, so there are a whole lot of things you can do. There's just a whole lot of things you can do. All right guys, so that's all about form. Okay, remember this is a crash course, so we're just trying to cover everything. So next thing I want to talk about is the div. All right, so the div is just a block. All right, the div is just a block. Okay, if you notice something here, okay, you notice that span, okay, which is the span I created here, okay, is inside the paragraph, right? But did you notice something about these headings? They are all taking 1 line each. All right, they are all taking what? 1 lines each. You're just taking the entire row. But things like span, strong, these are inline. All right, they only take the space of their content. All right, but for things like heading and paragraph, they take the entire row. So why did I bring that up is that div is a what? Is a block. All right, so div takes up the whole row. So what's the purpose of div? The purpose of div is just to okay, is just to help you arrange your content properly. Okay, for example, now like I can put a span here. Okay, normally span is an inline but when I put a span inside a div, see what happens. It just says span. All right, so there's a tool that, okay, I think so let me create okay, there's a tool I have here called pesticide. Now did you see that the div, are you saying it, the div took up what, the entire row? Okay guys, so I'll get down to that. I just wanted you to understand what I was trying to talk about. Okay, so next thing we need to talk about is tables, right? We need to talk about tables. So I'm going to create a table here, but I need to comment that first. All right, so we're going to create tables. All right, so the first thing to create a table, all you just have to do is create a tag called what, table. So the table normally takes certain things. Okay, table normally takes certain things, and the first we're going to talk about is okay, the table head. Okay, so this is the table head, and inside the head we have a row. All right, so which is TR, which means table row. So inside the table row we're not going to have table headings. All right, so which is TH, okay, which means table head. All right, so coming. All right, so inside a table head, so let's put class, let's put age, let's put age. So I think I need to do something here. I just want to add a style for you to see what I'm doing. So style, border 1. Solid. All right, so this is a head, age, let's put, okay, so let's do another head called 6. All right, so this is a table head. So next thing is we're going to create the table body. All right, so that's the body of the table. So in this table body, the first thing we want to do is create a row. So that's table row, TD, which means table data. So in this table data now, so the first thing there we have class. So let's put HTML. So yeah, our second data age. So let's put another text data, which is 23. So another age is 6. So let's say male. So this is how you create a shape. So you can actually duplicate this row, okay, if you want to create more rows. So let's create 3 additional rows, and let's change this to female. Okay, let's change this to 30. Let's change this to 28, and let's do this, call this Python, and let's call this JavaScript. All right guys, so okay, so this is how you create a table in HTML. Okay, so you can use CSS to actually style it to the way you want. All right guys, so we are making some progress. So the next thing I want to talk about is the lists. Okay, so lists. All right, so we're going to create lists. So we have different type of lists. We have the ordered, and which is OL. Then we have the unordered. Okay, which is UL. Okay, so we're going to start with the unordered list, and you're just going to see the two differences. So the unordered list starts with UL, so which stands for unordered lists. Okay, stands with what? With UL. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is inside the unordered list, we're going to put list item, which is LI, which stands for what? List what? Item. Okay, so inside this list item, we're just going to put in some stuff like let's put food. Okay, I love food a lot, I'm sorry. So we have drinks, and we have people, we have religion. All right, so this is just saying, what do we call this list? The unordered list. All right, so we have religion, so this is an unordered list. So the next thing I'm going to create is the ordered list, so OL, which stands for ordered list. And in that list, I'm just going to put a list item. I'm just going to call these humans. Okay, I'm going to call these people. All right, I'm going to call this society. I'm going to call this nation. All right, so now this is the unordered list. So the unordered list is all right, it's just unordered. Why the ordered list is ordered following a particular pattern and all of that. So you can read more about it or know more about it at the W3 school. All right, guys, so let's move on. So the next thing I want to talk about is an image. All right, image. All right, image. So how do you add image to your? So now to create an image, the first thing you just need to do, just do ing. Okay, so this is the tag, and these are some of the attributes that are necessary to create your image tag, which is the src. All right, so I'm going to explain attribute to you in a bit. All right, I'm going to explain attribute to you in a bit, but I just want to show you the different types of tags and all of that. All right, guys, so I'm going to get an image. All right, so I'm going to open our file. So inside this file, I'm going to create a new folder called image. All right, and inside this folder, I'm just going to paste the image I got from the internet. Paste. All right, guys, so back to our editor. Say over here, you see we have our folder and our image here. So to add this image, I'll just come back to the image attribute, the image tag, and inside the tag, I'm going to enter inside this attribute. I'm just going to do /, I select image, and I select the shirt. So did you see the shirt is actually showing here? So I'm just going to make this shirt. So I'm just going to say width, and I'm just going to do 100. All right. So I'm just going to do 100. So see our shirt is showing here. So let me make it a little bit bigger. So these are image here is showing. Okay, guys, so we are making some serious progress. So the next thing I want to talk about is horizontal rule. So let's assume I want to put a rule here. I can just come here and do HR, which means horizontal rule. Okay, so just to draw a line. All right, so let's say you want to separate what you're doing, you want to segment it, you can use HR, which means horizontal rule. But not the least, so next thing is you can create your buttons. So let me do buttons. So you can create your button. So inside this button, I'm just going to do click me. All right, so click me. See, I just created this button right now, so let me use the break to separate it. All right, so you see, it say what? Click what? me. All right, so these are button. And so another thing you need to know is called the meta. So the meta, you put that one in your head elements, in the head elements. So I can do meta. So meta, I can do for description. Okay, so let's say I want to describe what my content is all about. So I can do description, HTML, okay, HTML tutorial. All right, so I just did that HTML tutorial. Okay guys, so this is it. So the next thing I want to talk about is so there are different type of sorry about that. So there are different type of what was that? So there are different type of meta tags that you can create. So you can create for your title, okay. So you can create your meta for your title name, okay. So you can do for title, you can do for the author, just like that. So the whole lot of stuff you can do your meta tags. So this is what the search engine actually read. This is what Google, this is what they find in your website. This is how they segment your website or know what your website is all about. All right guys, so let's progress with the class. So we're done with all this. We're done with these. So I left this for you, okay, for your assignments. So these are your assignments. All right, so go and read about them. Okay, so so there are certain things I want to talk about, right? So I've showed you the different elements, but there are just things you need to know. So we have something called the inline elements and the block elements. So let me just use this as an example. So this is our document, right? All right. So the block elements takes a whole row like this. The block element takes a whole row. But what are the block elements? We have your div, your h, your headings, h1s to hjs. You have your p tag, which is your paragraph. You have your form. So these are the block elements that you have for your HTML. So the first thing is they take a new line and they take the full width available. All right, they take the full width available. So, but there's something we just want to talk about is the inline element. So let's assume you have he saw. Let me do he saw. Right, I don't know what he saw, but now this is a content, right? Okay, if you do a span, all right, let me put s for span. If you put a span, run this, the only thing it's going to take is this space. It will only cover this space alone where the content is. Okay, so it doesn't take what, it only take the necessary width, which is the width where the content is. Then the next thing is it does not take a new line, it maintains existing lines. Okay, it maintains what, existing what, line. That's why when you check this, you see we use a span here. The span only took what, the space where this content is. It did not create a new line, it maintained the same line where it was. All right, so that's just all about inline elements and block elements. So for your inline elements, we have your span, images, and what, links, or which is called anchor tags. All right guys, so still the same thing I'm explaining here. So the inline elements, you see you have your span. You see span is just taking, you can have like 2, 3, 4, 20 inline elements on the same line. Okay, and we have your block element, which takes what, the entire what rows, and you have your inline block element. So these are just the various things that you need to know. So I was talking about attributes. All right, I was talking about attributes, and I told you that I'm going to talk about it. So what are the facts? All tags, all HTML tags can have what? An attribute. All right, all HTML tags can have what? An attribute. So what is an attribute actually? An attribute provides what? Information about an element. An attribute what? Provides what? Information about what? An element. So another thing you need to know is that the attributes, they are placed inside of what? The start tag. So this is it. So now we have your tag name. Okay, this is a tag name. So if you want to put an attribute, it starts by putting the attribute name and putting the attribute value. So what do you notice here? Everything about the attribute is inside of what? The opening tag. All right, so that is that. So an attribute, they come in key value pair, meaning that you put the key or name, the name, let me use n for the attribute, you put an equal to, and you put a what? The value, okay, that you want to give to that particular attribute. All right, let's go. So now this is a breakdown of an HTML attribute. All right, so now you see we have here, over here we have the tag name, all right, which is A, which stands for anchor tags. So see, now we have the attribute name, which is href. Now what do we have? We have the attribute word value. So we have this equal to, okay, which is saying that whatsoever comes after the equal to is the what? Is the value of what? This particular attribute here. So this is the attribute. All right, so that's the attribute. So next thing I want to talk about is, let's go back to our code editor and let me explain some certain things to you. So now, okay, see, this is an attribute. Okay, this type is an attribute. So this is the attribute name, okay, and this is what? The attribute was the value of what? The attributes. All right, so this is the value of the attribute. So now I say that attribute provide information about an element. So you see we have an attribute here called type, and we added email. So what this attribute is doing is, this attribute is providing more information about this particular tag, that this particular tag is going to only accept emails. All right, so that's why we say attribute word provide what? More information. Okay, so if you notice, let me use this. If you notice, you find out that there's an attribute here called action. All right, and the value is, let me put slash php. All right, so this is the value here. So you find out that this attribute is actually inside of the what? The opening tag of form. So if you check here, this is another attribute called href. The href actually, this is where you put the link to the website, this is where you actually add the address of the link that you are creating. So you see, this is the what? The attribute name. Everything inside this colon, all right, is what? Everything inside this semicolon. What am I saying? Everything inside this quotes rather is what? Is the value of what? This what? Attribute. I guess you understand, but if you don't, just comment and I will explain more to you. All right, guys, so let's progress. So now the next thing I just want to show you is the HTML5 semantics. All right, so the HTML5 semantics. So the HTML5 semantics is, I'm just going to create a new file here. Okay, I'm just going to create a new file, and I'll just call it, oh sorry about that, I'm just going to create a new file and I'll call it index2.html. all right, so inside here I'm just going to create the HTML5 syntax for you. Okay, so this is what I want to do. So inside this HTML5 you can really use this syntax to make your work cleaner. All right, so you can just come here and do header. All right, so let's say everything about your header, you can put it here. So I can put a nav here, so the navigation, and I can, let's say, let me put UL here. I can put an LI here and just say home. Okay, about and all of that. So I can just do this. Okay, so what this is doing is that I know that everything here is just the header, like the heading and the navigation of the entire website. So it just brings more structure. So I can create a side. Let's say I want to create a sidebar. So a side, so I'll just say everything about sidebar comes here. Okay, all right, so this is it. All right, so I can also create main. Okay, main means like the main content of the website is coming here. So I can just put a paragraph and say lorem 5. all right, so that's that. So another thing I want to create is the article. All right, so let's say you're creating blog content, so you just want to put like 3 articles, so you can also use this for your article creation. So lorem 10. all right, so you can use this for your articles and all of that. So this one can actually be inside the main. Okay, so next I want to talk about section. Let's say you're creating a website, you want the testimonial to be in one section, you want the contact to be in one section, so you can use section to do that. So you can say contact, so the contact will be here. You can create another section called testimonial. Testimony. Not spell. That's wrong my spelling. All right, so testimonial. So there are a whole lot of them. You can create details. All right. So you can create details. So this is HTML5. So this is just like the structure, all right, of HTML5. So it's really readable and it's really easy to understand. So one more thing is that you need to know is the HTML special character. So if you want to create things like and okay, on copyright and all of that, so you can just do this. So let me show that to you. So let's assume let's come back here. So let's assume you want to do, okay, at the very end. So let's say you want to do Peter and let's say copyright, and you just want to add this. So you all just have to do is you can just do and copy. All right, you just do and copy, and this add that special character to your stuff. So did you see that? So did you see it here? So you can do a whole lot of stuff. Let's say you want to add let's say you want to add you like is register, you can just do and reg. Okay, see, did you see that? So this is how you create your special characters in HTML. So the list is just out there, but you can go to W3 schools to know more about this stuff. So guys, so thank you. We have come to the end of the class. We've come to the end of the class, and it's really been amazing. So thank you for attending our class today. So please, if you have any questions, if you have anything, any tutorial that you want us to make for you, you can just kindly contact us, send us an email, or just comment, and we'll be right there to answer all your questions. So guys, so I just hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you understood everything that we talked about. So please subscribe to our channel, share this video content with your friends, and you know, just spread the good news. So thank you for your time, and we really appreciate. Bye for now.